Hello, this is Maggie Borders. Today I will be reviewing Nearpod. Nearpod is a presentational platform that is used to create interactive lessons for students. Today I'll be showing you some of the lessons that are available and then also how to create a lesson of one's own. So if we look at this homepage, you can search by topic. You'll see here my recent search was French. I wanted to keep it high level to see what was available. Once you are here, you can look for information by grade level. So I'm going to change it to 7th grade to if I were working with my 7th graders and see what's available. Obviously, this takes some discernment from the teacher. You have to go through and see what is actually available and then, look at it and make sure it's an appropriate lesson. But there are resources out here. This could be fantastic. Like if I'm looking at the Statue of Liberty here, this could be a really interesting resource as an enrichment activity, for example. And it allows teachers to use something that's interactive and also using resources that are already created. We know that time is always of the essence as teachers. So there is a resource library already out here. And then I also want to show you what teachers can create. So here's one that I created while I was playing around. This is a film that students watch, Ernest et Célestine. So in my class, they've already watched the full-length feature film in the target language, which is French. And I can also create a little video for students to watch. So let's take a look at the preview button. What you'll notice here is I can take a video. I took this from YouTube, and I can play the video and then ask questions along the way. So if we look at this lesson, what you'll see in a moment is that I've asked questions throughout. I'm hoping that it'll pop up here. I'm not certain that you'll be able to see it. I can ask questions about the video at various points. This really creates an opportunity for students to interact with the language in a new way. So I'm going to press play so you can see kind of what this looks like, and a question should pop up here in just a moment. So what you'll see here is that there is a question, okay? So we've got a multiple choice question here, and it's a completion for the students. They can complete the sentence based on what is actually correct from the video. So what you can see there from that example, if we look at engagement here, does the technology allow students to focus on the task of the assignment or activity with less distraction? So students are going to be in this single video. They can't look at other things while they're going. I could set a time limit at. But depending on the activity type that is chosen, Nearpod could allow students to focus on the task without distractions. For example, if students are watching a video with accompanying questions like I just showed, then the teacher knows how much time students should need to complete the assignment. So a time limit can be placed to further motivate students to stay on task. In the world language classroom, focusing on the task does not always appear active in the way that it does for some other classes. So let me explain. In any world language classroom, students are working on interpretive, interpersonal, and presentational skills. These are the 3 key components. Interpretive skills are seemingly passive, so it may look like a student is just watching a fun cartoon video. However, so much is happening below the surface. Students are receiving target language input and using decoding skills. So Nearpod here has the potential to support interpretive skills by offering practice opportunities through lessons and videos. Teachers can deepen the learning activity by creating questions that are aligned with their school's curriculum and embedding them in the videos so students are focused on the video and answering questions in real time and not just after the interpretive piece has concluded. So this is a powerful tool in that regard with many possibilities. Does the technology motivate students to start the learning process? This depends on the type of activity that's chosen. I like the idea of using Nearpod for videos in another language, French in my case. The video could be about any topic. So therefore, letting the teacher find something that is interesting and linked to the student's interest could be a really powerful tool. There could even be a choice provided between 2 different topics, and students typically find videos an engaging way to interact with a new language. as they are hearing the language and also benefiting from that visual input to support the language. So if we think back to this video here, what was powerful about it is students are getting, a visual input here, but they're also hearing. So if they hear the word for example, music, right? We see here there are musicians. They would get that input of the sound of the word for music, but they would also see the music to further reinforce that, which is a powerful concept that is supported by second language acquisition theory. So again, kind of what could be looking like a passive experience is really very active for the students. And that sense of success is also motivating for them. As far as the technology causing a shift in the behavior of the students, where they move from passive to active, social learners, this one is a little more nuanced with Nearpod. I don't know that there's the same level of opportunity here in terms of the way I'm envisioning it in the world language classroom. The technology does cause students to be active learners, but not necessarily social learners. So to Dr. Kolb's point in the engagement video, it is up to the teacher to use instructional strategies in tandem with the technology tool. So following this Nearpod activity, for example, I envision extending the activity by asking students to pair up, write one question in the target language about the video they watched. So this question should be original and different from the ones they answered in the Nearpod. And with the student questions, the teacher could pose those to the class and have them answer them in pairs. This would be a departure from the technology itself, but it's supported by the technology. It's possible because of the technology. So as noted on the Triple E framework website, students can be pushed through scaffolding the activity via an independent listening session with questions followed by a paired activity that extends beyond the technology. So a lot of possibility here. I think the fantastic thing when we look at something like this is really, again, if I want to create a new lesson, there is an option to upload, explore the library, use Google Slides add-on. If I create something from scratch, what I can do is really, endless opportunities. There's multiple choice, quizzes, drag and drop, images and text for ordering sequentially or sorting in groups. That's really powerful for demonstrating language, just understanding another language. Draw it could be really fun, I think, especially for my middle schoolers. Open-ended questions. This could be a little tricky for a long written response, but it's amazing that there's an audio response. Students could listen to something and then answer to practice their world language skills in that way. Collaborate board, poll, collaboration could be awesome for, again, extending beyond what students have done independently, really work, pairing up with groups. Polls, collective votes, opinions, or gauge understanding. This could be really fun for a social opportunity, even as a warm-up for students. Matching pairs, quiz, memory test, and fill in the blanks. So there's so much opportunity here. The lesson that I showed was such a small one where students can, again, watch a video, answer questions. Something else that's really cool, it can be live participation. And where I can control the pacing, and that again would keep students on track or student paced, which I think really is powerful for students who just need a little more time, but both options are there. Overall, I think for this one, engagement is high. I like it, and I'd be curious to use it in my classroom.